Hello, my name is Marcus and welcome to Tabletop Reviews on a Monday, which would normally mean I would have to go through a few ticket rides. But I've decided one thing, which is I'm not really on top of new games that have just been released, which is obviously way better to be. So therefore, Mondays will from now on and all the way into the future be either ticket ride. If I have a ticket ride to review, it will be on a Monday just to catch up to it. And then maybe do a final overview once I've reviewed all of them, or new releases which I've recently received. Now I do have right now 3 more ticket rides to review, and of course a bunch more on the wish list. Maybe I get some for Christmas, who knows. But I also have 2 new arrivals, and I think I want to focus on the 2 new arrivals, just talk about them, hopefully get some clicks because of that. And therefore, today I'm looking at Dinosaur Exhibit. Small little Kickstarter that recently got through the door. Originally I actually wasn't too keen on it, but my girlfriend, or fiance, I really liked the look of it and wanted to get it. So I said fine, we'll get it for you, because I love you and you will pay. So we have it now here, and well, let's talk about it. Alright, let's open up the box here. It's a little bit more difficult because there's not a lot of weight in it, so that doesn't actually fully work. So first thing we can do is we can bring out all these tokens right here, and I'm gonna set it up for just a 2-player game. That's a simple setup. So you can bring out all these in for the different colors that there are. And then the winning token here for the winner. All of them take up, there we go, you can see it all. They all take up 4 spaces in different ways. This one is a square, this is just a one long line. Then you have all of these pillar tokens, and as far as I understand, you need to split them up equally amongst the players. So as I said, we're putting this one up for a 2-player game, which, you know, just gonna throw them out like this. And give each player 6 tokens for a 2-player game. Great. Then each player is also going to get a pencil down here. It's Dinosaur Exhibit on it. Each player gets one there, and we can bring out the dice real quick here. Bam, have them ready. And then of course finally each player, and I'm just gonna grab one of the score pads we've already used. There we go. Gets a score pad which has an A side, which looks at this. You see we've already used this one. This was my winning game. Yeah, I got 34 points and she got, oh, she hadn't put it in, 28. So a bit of a difference there. Anyways, this is the A side, looks like this. There's also a B side, which looks like this. And I'm just gonna set up both for B side. It looks a little bit different, but it's basically the same game. And now we're ready to play the game. How do we play it? Well, a starting player, let's say it's this guy here. Well, that's actually where I was sitting, so that's me. Rolls the dice, and you land on these ones. So each symbol is also represented on here, except this is a toolbox, which gives you any symbol you want. So obviously, and then now you're going to choose one of the dice to keep, and obviously a toolbox, a joker, any sign you want, put it over here. And then your opponent, well, all of your opponents. Now it's only one, but if you were 3 players, 2 people will get it. If you're 4 players, 3 people will get it. All your opponents gets the other dice. Then you will simply take this one and cross out. Now, one thing I forgot real quick actually, is that in a 3-player game you get to start by crossing out 3. In a 2-player game by 3, and in a 3-player game you get to start by crossing off 1, and in 4, 5, 6, none. So, I would, let's say I started off like so. Right, that's how I started off. Just, we're gonna ignore this one, but just as an example, This is how I started up. Now I got the toolbox. How do I want to do these? Because there's a few ways to do it, but I think what we're just gonna do is make a square. Bang. And this one colors in, blah blah. Now then, you have one option here, which is to use a pillar token and cross in anything you want. But remember, these pillar tokens are worth 1 point at the end of the game, so maybe don't. Now you can then choose from over here any you want, if you have room for it. And it's a square here, so you have room for a square. Let's say I want the Carnotaurus. He comes in here, he simply gives 2 extra points. You can see that by the symbol up here. That's points, and this one is 2 points. There's one over here that's worth 1 point, and whatever. Maybe you want the Tyrannosaurus Rex, there's room for him as well. He has this symbol right here, which means I get to place him in and then roll one of the dice, and then I get that symbol extra. I can choose to maybe cross off over here, whatever. But let's say that's not the one I want. Maybe I want the Kentrosaurus. It's this symbol, which simply means I can place him here, and now I get to choose any symbol that's touching him. Even like this. So any of these symbols around here I could get for free. Cross them off. Yeah. And those are 3 symbols. Of course, there's also the long ones here, like this Stegosaurus. They would be placed like this and have similar abilities. And then that's the game. Then you cross off round 1 here. And then you move on, and this player is the starting player to roll the dice, get to choose, give you the other one, and now we're at a go. Now we're going. I mean, here it would be brilliant to have taken that Tyrannosaurus. You have 2 already built up here. That's wish fulfillment. One thing to note is that at the end of the game, well, let's jump to the end of the game. Let me just pick the Tyrannosaurus. We get a Baryonyx like this, and we got, what did we get? We got these 2 down here, let's just say that, and maybe we also got this one here. That's just, I don't know if that's realistic, I haven't calculated. And we also had, say this symbol, and this symbol. Okay, so that's our ending plate. Let me just zoom in. So that's our ending plate, that's how it looks. So, how do we score points? First off, we get 3 points for every skeleton we have. Fossil, of course. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 points, plus any points on them, and there are 1 point. So that's 16 points. Then we get a point if we have 2 out of 3 in a set. So if we have 2 of them, that's worth 2 points. If we have all 3, it's worth 3 points. So it doesn't matter, it's fine. This is the ending. So that's, yeah, okay, let's just change it up real quick and say that we had this one down here as well. Yeah, let's still add this one, fuck it. Right, well, that's just, you know, let's do a quick 19 points instead. Just, yeah, quickly adding that in there. 19 points instead. And then we would, you know, receive 2 points for this one and 3 points for this one, which is 5 points. And then this one, if we crossed off, well, that's these ones here that didn't have any dinosaurs on it, if they are alone. So this one is, of course, technically right next to another one. So it's not worth a point. This one stands alone, and this one stands all alone. So that's 2 points for having them stand all alone. And then for every pillar token we have left, let's say we used that one. Yeah, whatever. Well, there's so 5 points because we have 5 left. And that gives a final score. Like that. And this example, it would be 10, 29, 30, 31. So worse than my other one. So maybe it wasn't so unrealistic at all. So yeah, You of course have to waver in this example, right? So let's say we have this one here. But maybe you could, instead of, you know, having it here, you could have picked this one. You're losing that 1 point, but you're adding this one, which adds 2 points. Which wouldn't change it at all, actually. This one. Bam. Because then you are technically adding 4 points. Although we're subtracting 2, you're adding 4. And all of a sudden you have a better score, right? That's 33 now. Anyways, that's the game. Let's get back to the table. Let's talk about it. Very simple cut to the table look at Dinosaur exhibit. Starting out the gameplay of this game, very simple, and it's honestly, originally it was the reason that I thought I didn't really enjoy the look of it, because it sounded just like a roll and write, which was heavy luck, which, I mean, basically Monopoly where you pencil something on instead. So I wasn't too keen on this game. Girlfriend was like, it's a dinosaur game, and Long Shot, the dice game we recently had arrived and was really good as a roll and write, obviously. So he's like, dinosaur, roll and write, like Long Shot, woo! I was like, it's probably not like Long Shot, but we got it. Anyways, that's the background of it. Gameplay of this is very simple. You roll the 2 dice and that's it. But it is very luck based, but you have that tiny little mitigation of choosing the dice and then giving the rest. And I think that little mechanism is quite interesting. I haven't played a game before that uses this. I know that it does exist in many places. It is not all new for this game, I do know. I just haven't played it before. Just some people like, that is not new. It is not, I know. I just haven't played it before, and I really liked it actually. This thing of, it's almost the I split you choose, except I roll, I choose. Not at all the same. But it is a quite interesting thing. We obviously have played quite a few games 2-player here already. We do that a lot. Haven't really gotten it at a high play count yet. But I will do. I think I'm playing it for Christmas actually, around my dad's. Maybe he will play a game with me. Probably not. We'll see. But it is a very interesting thing in a duel because you have such an overview of your opponent. And I can only imagine if there's more opponent, it's going to be a little bit more like, okay, I rolled those 2 things. What do you have? What can I use? But sometimes you also get put in that little difficult situation of only one of the dice is useful for me and the other one is useful for her. So do I take the one that's less useful? I think that's the brilliant of, if you have a square colored in all by itself, it's 1 point. Because if that other dice could be used for that, and all of a sudden you can take the worst dice to hand something worse to your opponent. I think that little point thing, the choose split thing, that's a pretty fun little mechanism. It's not groundbreaking and all new, it's very simple, it's very basic, but I really like it. That little thing, if you can score that, so something not useful is still kind of useful. It's very lovely. One thing I might not be too crazy on is that you can take as many as you want from the, this is where we usually put them, from the fossils. You can take as many as you want from them. I'm not too keen on that. I think you should be limited to 1, maybe 2 if it's of the same color, right? Something along those lines. Not too crazy on the fact that you can build up and just grab 5 at a time. Yeah. Not too crazy on that, but maybe it's mostly an annoyance at the final round. You get a final round, you can go through and choose some. If you build it up, that final round you can grab a couple. Maybe it should just be one last round where everybody can choose 1 in player order. Reverse player order maybe even. Yeah, and then you just keep the thing with, like, if you've built up to 2, you can pick 2. Because I say 5, you could do that, but the good ones will be chosen by the time you get 5, room for 5. So that's definitely something. So yeah, maybe it's just the ending there that's very annoying to me, but it's a little rule that I might not be too happy with, that you can choose as many. But the pillars, I think, is an interesting addition, although maybe a little bit overpowered. In that you can remove 1 pillar, remove 1 point, but you could build up to so much more. I mean, you could get a combo going. You can choose the long one, where you can choose 1 from either side, place it there, take that one, you have now room for 4. You can paint one on the other side and you have room for one extra. You can create an insane combo just by removing 1 point. And I've definitely set in position because I've used those pillars to do that, to create a combo. I've only gotten 2 down on a combo, but that could be quite a bit. I mean, get 2 down of the same color, one of them have 2 points. I mean, you get a few points right there. And it is a small scoring game. There's not a lot of points in this. So it's definitely a bit overpowered, so maybe it should be 2 points you're letting go, or maybe it should just be less of them. Because I just went with what they showed in the rulebook, which is 6 to each person, but I think maybe you should split them all equally or something. Not very clear in the rulebook of how you split that, so that's not so good. We split it equally among us, and that's a lot for a 2-player game. That's a lot. That's a lot. And what is? Well, of course, placing the dinosaurs down makes sense. Create a square or a long one just to build it up with these not quite polyamorous shapes. I mean, a little bit, but not quite, because it's 2 shapes. A little bit of a puzzle with very basic shapes. It's pretty interesting. I hope maybe he can make a small expansion where they are different looking. Oh, squares. We have one of those things or something. That would be pretty interesting, actually. I don't know if this did so well that he's going to do a little expansion like that, but it would be very interesting. Very interesting to have those different shapes. And some more dinosaurs just. It's dinosaurs. We love dinosaurs. Want more dinosaurs. Just like Wingspan. Want more birds. Want more dinosaurs. It's lovely. So that's interesting. And of course, keeping track of the rounds is done in a fun little way. Just scratch it off. That's yeah, it's not groundbreaking. I don't know why I mentioned that. That's not very something. But yeah, and the scoring it makes sense. The different ways you score. It's pretty interesting. Let's go to components. So the components are very basic. It's a piece of paper, it's a pencil, and then you have the little tiles, which are actually nice and thick. Actually, pretty nice thick tiles to place on. That's very lovely to have. Like usually would be very thin, but these are quite nice and thick. That's nice. Pencils are actually fairly decent quality. You could expect much worse, but these are fine. I don't have much in terms of pencils because usually it's a dry erase marker for roll and writes and stuff. But they're nice. They're nice. They do the job. But I love this box. Honestly, it's a little blacked out, putting the main thing into focus. The Spinosaurus skeleton, which everybody wants to get a hold of, and then around here you have different skeletons, fossils. It of course is to make it a very nice looking box with the name all around, which is lovely. It doesn't matter how I put it into my shelves, it's always going to say Dinosaur exhibit and have a skull or a fossil, which is very lovely looking, I must say. I think the only component that I'm happy about is actually also the pillars, because they're quite a bit thinner than the rest. And brown, and they feel lower quality than the rest. But overall very nice. When talking about components, you of course have the artwork, which, I mean, the symbols are very nice and distinct, right? You know you've gotten a bone or a hammer or a brush or something, and very distinct symbols to paint out. So it's very simple, and it's very colorblind friendly, actually. I say that, and then I remember that the different ones have colors, so that's with pink and a purple that's very alike. So no, not colorblind friendly. Just remember that. Oh man, I have a friend who's colorblind. If I bring this out, I'm like, remember, the same colors are very, very valuable. He's like, ah. So no, not very colorblind friendly actually. That's. But as I said, the box artwork is amazing, and this is why you want it. I'm good with just putting this on myself and just having that, because it looks. I love this cover, really do. Really have a nice cover. There's like a vote for the top 10 covers of the year. I might have to say number 1. Flamecraft is pretty close because it's very nice looking. This just puts you in the mood. And when talking about, let's talk about theme. And it's okay thematic, like all the things are things you would expect for excavations and putting them out there, you know. But the boxes just put you in the mood. You're fighting for the Spinosaurus skeleton in your museum. Here it is in the museum. It's very dark, it could be lighter, who knows. but it actually looks very nice in the dark one. This just makes you, yeah, I want that skeleton right there. That's the one I want, and that's what you're fighting for. It puts you right in the mood to create the best possible museum and get the Spina stories. So theme-wise, it actually really is pushed through a lot better than I thought it would. Like when I read the Kickstarter, I thought it's not going to be very thematic. It's a simple game, yeah. But she wants it. Let's get it. I'm actually quite happy she wanted it because I like this simple game. It's some, as I said, I'm going to bring it to my dad. This is something I think I could get him to play because it's so fucking simple. And just the look of it is so amazing. Like I usually put in my games like this. I might turn this on like this and have it on my shelf like this. I like the cover that much. This is a really brilliant cover. So yeah. Does it lie to you? Players 1 to 6, ages 6 and up, minutes 15 to 25. Players want to just bring more pencils and then calculate in your head, because it obviously has a round counter from 1 to 7, depending on the amount of players, where 6 is the maximum. But if you're playing 7, 8, 9, 10 players, just 1 or 2 rounds instead of 3 for 6 players. Like, it's very simple. You can play with a lot of people with this one, I think, and I don't think you will lose a lot. I think I would maybe go all the way up to 10 for this one, maybe. 6 and up, yeah, that's pretty accurate. And I am going to bring it to Christmas when there is a 6-aged one. But it's very simple. You roll the dice, you pick the symbol. She might not understand the thing of like not giving them a good symbol, but that doesn't ruin the game, and it doesn't. If she plays to get the best symbol possible, that's fine. And it's, you know, it's squares and sides, and that I think lowers the age, right? As I said, the expansion, it might have to raise the age, because you get a bunch of different shapes. It's going to be difficult, not the one that I talked about, but in general, if you add more shapes, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to figure in for a younger person. But with these simple shapes and just rolling right, this is definitely 6 and up, and a very family-friendly one. 15 to 25 minutes. I'm trying to think if we've gone over that, but it's very accurate, because you roll, go through. It's pretty fast. I mean, if you don't get bogged down with which dice am I going to choose, which I haven't experienced, maybe with more players I will, then it's, you know, basically roll. Do I want to swap a pillow? Do I want to get one? Which the answer is usually yes, I want to get one if I can. The pillar is more, is it worth it right now? Not right now. That kind of thing, right? So, I mean, the player count is the only one I'm unhappy with here, because you can go a lot higher. I think we're going to be 8. No. Are we? Oh yeah, we're going to be 8. Damn. But I might play with all 8 if they want to. But I know that my brother and my sister, yeah, we're gonna be maybe 6 people playing. But again, this might be just one. Well, sister, I actually don't know. I haven't played with her. But my brother is going to be like, boy game. But we might play 7 or 8 people this, and I think it will work perfectly fine. We'll just say it's only 2 rounds. Maybe we'll say it's only 1 round, and we'll see. We'll see. Everybody's going to get quite a lot of symbols anyways. I mean, in the 7-player game, you're going to get 14 symbols, right? In the 2-player game, I mean, you're going to get 14 symbols, which is one of the lowest amounts, because if you're 6 players, you're playing 3 rounds, you're going to get 18, which is 4 more. So it's better to play more players, almost. It's whatever. There's actually one thing I didn't mention is the good rule about if you have room for a skeleton, but there isn't anyone left, you can get some points from that. I can't quite remember what the points are. But that's actually a nice addition to make sure that even at higher player counts, you still gotta get points for that. Because obviously it's not 1 point for having them alone, but it's an amount of points. I can't remember. I think it's 2 points, maybe. Right, so am I keeping this one? I mean, it's technically my fiance, so it's her decision to make. But if it was up to me, definitely keeping it on the shelf, standing like this on top, because it looks amazing. I mean, even Meadow, I don't feel the compulsory need to do this with, and that looks amazing on the cover as well. I really hope some people are going to see the cover and love it as much as I am, and bring some attention to this game, because it's a lovely little game, a lovely little family game. Definitely. So yeah, I'm keeping it. Oh, rating. We skipped it. Rating. I mean, how am I gonna rate this game? Like it's very similar stuff, the mechanic is, but it's just so good in what it's doing. Like this is a game that knows exactly what it is, knows exactly what it wants to do. Like the designer knew exactly what she wants to do. And the story is like, I wanted the game to play with my children. This is the game you play with your children. You bring your husband, you bring it over for Christmas, you bring it over for holidays, you know? It does exactly what it wants to do. So good. But the thing it wants to do is not be a fantastic game. It's to be a fun family game. I'm gonna give it an 8. I think that's as high as I can go with just a simple family game. It's not quite a 10. You know what? 9. 9. I'm gonna bring it to a 9. It's not a 10. It has some flaws, but this brilliant little game is gonna be a 9 because it just does what it wants to do so brilliantly and so good. And although it's so luck-based, which I normally hate, it doesn't matter in this one. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me for this fun, amazing little family game. Thank you very much to designer Kirsten Mott for going through this one. That's her name, right? What does it say? Printed in Guangdong. Yeah, sure. I can't actually see. It's only the art. Oh, design. Kristen Mott, not Kirsten. Kristen Mott. Thank you for bringing this game. It's brilliant, and I really hope my family likes it as well. They will. Thank you for watching this episode of Tabletop Reviews. Sorry there's no Ticket to Ride this week, but I hope that this game gets some attention. It's a really good game. So thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.